Postman just dropped their Kiro power for the new Kiro IDE from Amazon. Let's jump right in and start building with it. I'm inside the Kiro IDE now, and I've been working on a little sample application for the rest of the developer relations team here at Postman. This one is going to return information about planets. So anything in our solar system, you might have a route, say, /planets, or if you want a little bit more detailed information, you can get information about the planet by name, maybe by weather, those sort of general things that might be interested for someone in astronomy. I've been working on all of this locally, and it's time to start sharing it with the team. And this is where I thought the Postman Kiro Power would be really helpful. So for a quick level set, the way that Kiro Powers actually work is you create a steering guide or a steering design. And this is what the Kiro Power that we've provided has. It provides effectively best practices, guides, and information on how to work with a particular provider. Obviously, in this instance, Postman. I can go through and look at all the validation steps that I need to work with collections, schemas, API endpoints, all the things that I really want to do. Now, at the same end, you'll notice down the bottom here, I've already got the Postman MCP server connected. So what I want to be able to do is I want to turn this local application that I've been working on into a collection of API endpoints that I can share with the rest of my team inside Postman. This is a great example where the Postman Kiro Power is going to be amazingly helpful for me. So let's jump over and start adding a prompt. First thing that I want to do is I want to take those local routes and data and make them into an API collection. So let's add a prompt, create a collection from my app. Postman Kiro Power, you see, is already being pulled in here. You can see that steering file as well as a few other files that Kiro has created that defines and describes my application itself. You'll see here it's actually going through and starting to run the Postman MCP. First thing it's going to do is authenticate who I am. Yes, that is who I am. It's going to keep going and working. You'll see as it's going, it's asking for this postman.json file. Now, this file is actually one of the steering files that we included. So if I have a look inside here, one of my requirements is to create a .postman file. And that Postman file is going to store all of the information like workspace ID, collection ID, and everything that my application needs to know. So this is the real power of the Kiro Powers, is it can start to understand the context and keep working independently as an agent. So what it's prompting me here now is I found a couple of workspaces. Which one do I actually want to use? I think I'll just use my play zone. So let's say C. Right, it's gone and grabbed the workspace ID, stored that into that .postman.json file for future reference. Give it the ability to keep going. Right now I have no collections in there. It's going to go ahead and create a new collection for my API endpoints. So at this point, it's gone and actually completed the task that I asked for it. How it did that and the way that it did it is all controlled by that steering file, this Postman steering file. So if you see, what we gave the agent was a very specific set of prompts and guidelines. The first thing it needs to do is look inside that Postman JSON for all the workspace and collection ID so it doesn't have to make a separate request. Goes and looks in my workspace, the collections that I have, and then if required, go ahead and create the workspace and the collections for me. Once I get all of that together, it's going to go and create test scripts and update environment configurations and save all of that for me. All very well defined with inside that Postman Kiro Power. Now that I have my collections created, we want to make sure that it's working as designed. So let's ask it to run the API tests. Again, it's going to go have a look at that steering guide, have a look at the Postman JSON, and you'll notice that my service is already running here locally. Let's go ahead and run that. You can see that things are working as planned. APIs are running. We'll execute against the collection using those environments. And there we go. It's gone through and run a complete test case, listing out everything that has worked, the responses that are expected for me. This is an amazing time saver for me, and all of this is controlled by that Postman steering file and the Postman Kiro Power. This is pretty cool stuff. So let's recap what just happened and how this all worked. With the Postman Kiro Power, and in particular this steering file, this is effectively a best practice prompt and guide for building with Postman. So if you'll see, we've given the agent very prescriptive steps on what to do. Start with looking at the Postman file, look at the user's workspace. If needed, create a user collection, then go ahead and create a workspace, update the collection, and even add test scripts and update environment variables. Then whenever we want to actually test anything, we're giving specific guidelines in terms of how to run collection tests as well. So with inside this Kiro Power, you can have multiple patterns that describe these best practices, such as testing, documentation, and obviously creating those API collections. And that'll about do it for us. The Postman Kiro Power is available now. Go check it out and let us know what you think.